Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Lynn Wilson. I'm glad you're here tonight. So, by the title, you're probably going, what in the world is this woman going to talk about tonight? Show us or do. So, I have to tell you, I'm all excited. I have a friend who I've never met, but I feel like we're really good friends. And her name is Jan from New York City, and she has a YouTube channel, Jan from New York City Saves Money. But Jan had a video today that just got me going. So let me read you her title, and then we'll go from there, all right? Skyrocketing high prices, question mark, or just skyrocketing hype, question mark. My take on this, exclamation mark. What says you, question mark. Jan, thanks for that video. Thanks for the inspiration. Let me put my phone down. Thank you so much. I'll tell you, I was sitting at the mall. We had to travel about 50 minutes to get to the mall. My husband's phone crashed, so we had to go get it checked out and all that good stuff, make appointments and yada yada. Well, it's my day off. I did not feel like going in the mall, so I decided to sit in the car and figure out what in the world I could do. So I flipped through my YouTube channels to see what everybody posted, and I don't always get to catch up on this, but Jan's video caught my eye, and I had to listen. And I'm telling you, I was all ears. Jan, you did an excellent job on explaining things, so I'm giving Jan a shout out. You need to go check out her channel. You need to check out this specific video. If you're full of fear, if you're full of worry, if you're full of anxiety, if you're wondering, are these high prices happening? Are we going into a depression, a recession? What is happening? Listen, we just lived through a pandemic. We are still in it, but we're coming through it. I'm not saying we're at the end of it, but I'm saying we're getting through it. We're getting on the other side of it. We lived through no toilet paper. We lived through we couldn't find ramen noodles. That's at least for me. We lived through all these shortages and whatnot, but key word, we lived through it. Jan made a really good point I think it was at the end of the video, and she talked about she was watching, I think it was a major league sports event, something like that, and there were some commercials. I might have it a little mixed up, but this is a paraphrase of what she said, the gist of it. But she talked about the commercials, and yes, commercials make money. That's why YouTube has commercials. There's money to be made. The longer you watch a commercial, the more intrigued you're by the commercial. You buy that product, it makes that company money. That company makes money, they're going to make more commercials, and so on and so forth. Listen, news is only as good as the next story. If you knew anything about journalism, and I used to tell my husband, you know, they'd have hype on one thing, and then all of a sudden it would disappear, and you'd be like, well, what happened? Last week that was the big thing on the news, because there's another news story that came in. So remember this. Remember, first of all, I learned two things from another friend who I never met, who I know I will meet someday in glory. If you've ever watched The Mills Family, currently it used to be Andrea Mills' channel. Andrea Mills had two rules that I have continuously followed. Number one rule is never panic. You never want to panic. And I tend to, what do I got to do? Oh no. And I know better. But Andrea said, do not panic. That's number one. Another thing she said, and I actually had a friend make me a sign, and it hangs in my kitchen. There is always enough. I remembered Andrea saying that if you had a piece of pie, pie, pumpkin pie, and there are 4 of you in the family, you would cut 4 slices. If there were 5 of you, you would cut 5 slices. If there are 8 of you, you would cut 8 slices. So there's always enough. Now, granted, you're not going to get the biggest piece of pie, but there's going to be something for everyone. So I really had to start thinking about what Jan was talking about, the hype of the prices. Are there price increases? There's always price increases. Every time I go to the store for the past 20 years, I'm telling my husband, I can't believe bread went up, or I can't believe these shoes went up, or I can't believe. Now, are the prices really going up to the point of, extraordinary inflation? I don't know. Now, I can only speak for the area that I live in, the things that I buy, and so on. I don't live around the world, and I don't live in your home state. So I'm speaking from my area and from what I see. I can tell you that I see a lot of YouTubers, and I've talked about this on my past video, a lot of doom and gloom and a lot of negative talk. Listen, if we walk around our life in a negative way, we're going to be negative. Are there negative things every day? Yes. You stubbed your toe, you spilled your coffee, you got a bill in the mail that you forgot to pay. Maybe your power goes out because you forgot to pay the electric bill, and yada, yada, yada. Things can happen in a day, and you can just concentrate on all those negative things, or you can move forward and find what little good did happen in that day. Even if it's one thing, it's a good thing. And you've got to focus on that. You've got to change your attitude. Jan was talking about, is this hype? I am not going to sit here and tell you I'm a professional, and I know analytics, and I know, ratios, and I know percentages, and I know what Wall Street's going to do next, and I know that I don't know any of this stuff. I don't. But I can tell you this. I'm old enough. I'm old enough. When you hit 50 plus years, you're old enough. You've lived through a lot in your lifetime. You've raised a family, whether you've raised a family or not, but you know what I'm saying. You're old enough that you could have raised a family. You're old enough to have been married. You're old enough to have had a career. You're old enough that you've been through stuff. I've been through some pretty hard times. I don't think I've shared the story. I'm not going to go into it right now. That's a story for another time. But there was a time I had not enough food in my home. Why? Because it was my mistake, the way I was budgeting, managing. I was a young mom, and I didn't know what I was doing. And I had a negative attitude about stuff. I will just throw all that in the mix. But it ended up that I had to skip a meal to feed my son and my husband because we had 1 can of soup and a couple of crackers. And I needed to feed them because, of course, my son had to eat and my husband had to go to work, and I did without. I'm still here. I am far from a size 2. I survived. I lived through it. I was okay. Lesson learned from me, have a stockpile. Lesson learned from me, budget better. Lesson learned from me, be more organized. Lesson learned from me, get on it, Lynn. Get with it. Get your home together. A wise woman builds her home, and I need to build my home. Whether you're a family of 1 or a family of 25, you need to build your home wisely, have a stockpile, have a budget, and figure out how to make things work. There is always enough. We are not a country that is starving right now. We are not destitute. I am not predicting the future. I am not saying where you are isn't rough times. But you know what? This is what convinced me. I watched Jan's video, and I was sitting in the car while my husband and son were in the mall, and I was watching. Every car that pulled in was a fairly new car. Nice new car. I don't see many, older cars on the road. Now, I will tell you, this shirt here, thrift shop, yeah. The jeans that I'm wearing are probably 3 or 4 years old from Kohl's. Yes, I bought them new, but they're old. This jacket is probably 15 years old. 15. I'm guessing. At least 10, maybe 15 years old. Yes, it was brand new when I bought it, but I've worn it all these years. Earrings, yeah, these were thrift shop. Eyeglasses off of Zenny Optical so I can save money. And I'm driving a 2002 van. So I'm not living high on the hog. But I can tell you I'm okay. I have enough. We have enough. The people that I watched go in the mall, I watched a mom. Now, I'm not criticizing, not saying they shouldn't, but I watched her get out with her very poshy shoes and put her 2 girls in a carriage that you can tell was not cheap. Then had a beautiful diaper bag backpack that you could, I'm not going to go into brand names. I'm not a brand name loyalist, but she had a brand name bag that would cost, big bucks. Then she had her pocketbook, big bucks. Then she had her Starbucks coffee. And she just kind of walked in the mall like she was all that, and she had all that, and got out of a gorgeous car, makeup, nails, the whole 9 yards. She looked like the model picture for a magazine for, mom going shopping with the kids. Then I watched the next one go in and the next one come out and so on and so forth. And I told my husband about Jan's video, and I said, when you look around here, This particular mall, there were no parking spots. Everybody was shopping. Everybody going in, people were coming out with bags, like brown, nice size shopping bags with stuff. I don't know what they were buying, but they were buying stuff. No lack for sales at this mall. Then we went around the other side of the mall, and I'll have a video coming up for you. We went to a place called Primark. I've never been there. Let me know in the comments if you have one by you. It was awesome. Loved it. Went in there, and it is like a British version of Old Navy. And the clothes actually have price tags on it in pounds, which I thought was cute. I know, cute. I don't know. I liked it. It was kind of cool. And U.S. prices as well. But it was very nice quality clothing for a very reasonable price, I thought. But I watched the store was packed. The line wrapped all the way around. There was no empty spots in the store where you didn't see a cluster of people. People were buying stuff. Well, then from there we went and you just looked around. I guess I put on different glasses in the sense of I was observing everywhere I went. There were things happening. There were people in shopping centers. There were people dressed well. There were people buying things. I wish I could have caught a picture. We were rushing to go somewhere and I couldn't turn around and go back, and I really wanted this picture for this video in particular. But we drove by and there was this area. I don't know how big this lot was, but it was humongous. And every house on the lot had that, before they put the siding on, it's that white plastic and it's got the writing on it. I don't know what that would be before the siding goes on the house. Brand new homes. We're talking brand new, big, brand new homes. We're not talking, like little bungalows. These were nice, poshy family homes. The brand new development. There had to be, just from a quick glance, 100 homes, if not more, because it stretched all the way back. And again, I wish I caught a picture. And I thought to myself, high prices, inflation, depression, we're doing without, there's this panic, everybody go and do. The fear, no, not so much. We need to stop being so fearful. I want to challenge you to just go look around. Maybe pull in a shopping center tomorrow. If you're fearful and you're worried and you're anxious, again, I don't live where you live and I don't live the life you live. But I want to sort of allow us to just sort of chill a little bit. I said to my husband, I had to laugh because I had to think about when I'm saying this. I said to him, to me, poor and doing without, and you talk about the days of the Depression, are wearing holey shoes and holey pants, ripped, torn jeans, and your shoes have holes in them. I said, but that's now a fashion statement. So, wearing ripped jeans are like the in thing. But I'm talking about legitimate ripped jeans that's all you own because your pants are falling off of you because you have no money to buy anything and there's no more jeans in the store. There are jeans in the store. There are jeans for every price you can imagine. Are we in tough times? Are things bad? I tend to think they're not as bad as the hype is on the news. Again, I'm not a professional. Some of you might come back and say, Lynn, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, in my area. Let me give you a for instance. You have that one lot of homes that I mentioned going up. Town after town after town on one major highway we went through. That's all we saw. More clearings, signs, such and such homes being built. Another one, another one, another one. We were about an hour from home, so as we're traveling, we saw quite a bit. We saw new stores going up. We saw new stores being built. We saw grand opening everywhere. Yes, help wanted signs are everywhere. I said to my husband, at this point, pretty much anybody can get a job at any skill level. And I said, at some point, that's going to taper off. And if you don't have a job, you're going to regret not getting a job now when you should have gotten a job. And why don't you want to work? And I don't understand people that just stay home for the sake of staying home because they can collect money. Get out there and get working. Get America back to where it needs to be. Get out and get a job. If you're physically capable and your schedule allows it with family and all that, get out there and get a job and be part of society. Be part of giving back and working and, the Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. And there's something to be said for that. I think we need to get back to working and teaching our kids good work ethics and what it is to work hard and to feel, I did it. When you come home, you're productive and you can offer something to society and to yourself. Working builds self-esteem, and I'm on a roll about that too. But I'm telling you, another thing that has convinced me that things are not the hype that they are saying it is this. We were given a lot of food over the pandemic, and we are blessed. We have friends. We actually have a network of people that we share food with. I have a lot of food. There's only 3 of us in the house, and I can only eat so much food. And I get overwhelmed when I have too much of anything. Now, that's not to say that I'm going to throw food out. I'm not going to do that. But I can only keep so much. I mean, reality is I can't have a grocery store the size of a grocery store of Walmart in my home. I just can't do that. My house is small. And, am I going to keep rice for 25 years? No. It's just not me. Not saying it's wrong. I know there's people that store food for that length of time. More power to you. It's just not something I can do. But what I can do is I can some things, I can store some things, and so on. So for me, having a year's worth of food is what my goal is. Anything past that, I get overwhelmed and I just can't handle it. My life is different than yours. That's where I'm at. Some people only have room for a week's worth to a month's worth of groceries because they live in a small apartment, maybe in New York City, and they only have so much space. Well, then you do what you can, but don't forget, there is always enough. So, I have this overabundance of food. So we decided to call some food banks and thought, we'll donate it to the food banks. No, thank you so much. We're overloaded. We used to give our canned goods and our pastas and our rices and things like that to the VA, which was great. My dad's a veteran. They have helped my dad tremendously in his older age with all kinds of things we wanted to give back. We give food to the veterans or to the VA, and they can turn around and give it to those in need. The VA said they're so overloaded they have no more room. I called some food banks. They're overloaded. We don't know what to do with the food. Okay? We went to a place that someone recommended that they help the homeless, where they have food and so on. They're overloaded. They don't need any more food. They can't store what they have. Give you another example. I went to a food bank with my mom maybe 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, I don't know, whatever, to get my mom a few essentials. Pulled up. How many in your family? I said, oh, my mom has 2. Well, how many are in your family? I said, oh, I'm just driving my mom through. Thank you anyway, but it's just for my mom. No. How many in your family? I said, well, I have 3. We'll give you some stuff. I didn't want to take. I'm not in desperate need. If I needed it, great, but I wasn't in desperate need. Please take some food. So you're in your car and you drive through and you go table to table to table and they load up. You open your trunk and they load it up. King Arthur's flour, brand new. Meat, vegetables, canned vegetables, breads from the bakery, cookies, cakes, shampoo, razors, nail polish. I don't even know. Tons, rice, beans, yada, yada, yada. Well, here's the thing. Would you like a roast chicken? Oh, sure, that would be very nice. Thank you. Well, here's 6. Would you like sausage? That would be great. I have 3 in my family. My mom has 2. Here you go. You should have seen the back of my van, and you're not watching what they're putting in there. They loaded us up with so much food. We could have fed both of our families probably for 6 to 8 months with what was in there. It was unbelievable. They have too much food. They didn't know what to do with it. She said at the end of the night, they're going to throw the bread, I think, and the vegetables in the woods behind the church. And this way they can feed the animals, and the rest of it they can store, and so on and so forth. They had so much food, they had to give it away. And they couldn't give it away because there's not as many people coming to the food bank anymore. So they have all this over and abundance. What does that tell me? The food banks don't want food because they don't have people coming, because people are fine and there's too much food. And listen, there's always enough. You need something. I'm not talking about, let me go back. Let me regroup here a little bit. One thing Jan talked about is the frugal community of YouTubers. Jan is one of them. I'm one of them. I'm not as good as Jan. I'm not nearly as good as like Amy Marion, who's another one I love, and some of these other people that, gather up their bits and pieces, Homestead Tessie, and make beautiful things out of next to nothing. Now, we're not talking prime rib here. I'm talking a can of baked beans. Baked beans on toast. This is something my husband grew up on, and open a can of beans, make a piece of toast, pour some beans on it. You don't need a whole lot of this. You got protein, put a little mustard on top, how I like to do it. It's a sustainable meal that you can survive on. Other things that we have an overabundance of. Dollar store spaghetti. You can get it. You can live on this. Spaghetti and sauce. Spaghetti and put some vegetables with it. Spaghetti with everything. Things like rice. You can make all kinds of recipes with rice. These are not expensive things. These 3 items right here came from the dollar store. If you can't afford to buy prime rib, then don't do it. Buy a can of baked beans or buy hamburger meat and learn how to make recipes and how to stretch it. You add lentils to your hamburger meat. I learned that on Parsnips and Parsimony. That's another good channel. Hello, Janelle. If you're watching, check out Janelle and Art's Parsnips and Parsimony is the name of their channel. She does all kinds of frugal cooking. I've gotten some great tips from her. But she adds lentils to her chopped meat when she makes meatballs to stretch the meat. Not only does she stretch it, it's perfectly healthy. It's a great idea. Be frugal in what you do. Now, am I saying just go out and spend money because everything's wonderful? Absolutely not. One of the things that Jan said is just be consistent with what you're doing. Live frugal. You know what? Stretch what you can stretch. Use what you have. Don't just run out and buy something. My van is a 2002. It was a gift. It was given to us. We didn't pay for it. But I will tell you this. After we got it, the transmission went and the timing belt went. Almost $7,000 later, we had a hefty bill. What did I have to do to pay that off? Well, I had to cut back. I sold a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace. I sold stuff. I did what I had to do, and we paid that bill off in probably 5 or 6 months. So I didn't have that bill hanging over me. We did not have the means to pay it off immediately, and that's okay. So we didn't, but we did what we could do. Just like Jan said, stay consistent, be frugal, live a good life. I can have people look at me and say, you're driving a 2002, do you know how old that is? But you know what? My van gets me from point A to point B. It's a good looking van. It's under 100,000 miles on it. I have no car payment. It's okay. It's good for me. Someday we'll get a better van. That's okay too. For right now, it serves the purpose. Right now, I have medical bills for my husband. I'm taking care of my older parents. There's expenses that go beyond what I thought we would have at this time in our lives, and that's okay. It's called life. So we just roll with the punches and we make it work. If it means once in a while having baked beans on toast, we can do that. Another time we'll have burgers. It's all about the attitude. It's all about how you go into it. But listen, be consistent. Live on a budget, have a stockpile, be frugal, learn how to live within your means, and when you can get things on sale, put them aside. Once in a while, go treat yourself. Today, I went out, I treated myself to a few new things. Things that did I absolutely need them? No. I'm not starving, and I have clothes, and I have a roof over my head. Did I really, really, really need these things? No. Did I want them, need them? Yes. Do I want to look a little bit better when I go to work? Yes. So I went and got them. We had a little extra money, so I got them. That's okay. Don't panic. Know that there's always enough. Learn how to live on a frugal level. I'm not saying starve yourself and live like a pauper, but learn how to live a good life with a great attitude on a frugal level so that when things are tough, you have a stockpile. If you have extra money right now, go and get a couple of extra canned goods and canned meat and things that you know have a lifetime of 5+ years that you can store, cans of tuna, all kinds of stuff like that. If If you don't know how to do a stockpile, I have a video on how to start a stockpile on $5. I will leave that at the end of this video, and you can go back and check that out. Other people, just YouTube it. Listen, I'm not, this is not all about me, but there's a lot of great YouTubers out there that have good videos on how to start a stockpile, how to save money, how to do things well, how to recreate, how to decorate on a budget. I just got clued in on a YouTuber new to me, Siobhan Melanie. I think I have her name right. And Siobhan, giving you a shout out and thank you so much. She redid her kitchen. I loved her kitchen counter, and I realized she did a video on redecorating. She did her kitchen counter with contact paper. It cost her like $10. It's gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I thought she had a stainless steel background. It was contact paper. So listen, you don't have the money right now. You can do redecorating of your home by just moving around furniture, putting a knick-knack from one room to the next. Oh, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. Don't panic, people. Don't worry about the hype. Don't go worrying about prices and all this kind of stuff. Just sit for a moment, regroup, realize, what do I have? What do I need? How do I make life better for myself? How do I have a really good attitude from here on out? I don't need to panic. I know that there's always enough. Look around you. Things are not devastating right now. I am not predicting the future. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do. But we have today. Make today count. Make today a good day. Make today a day where you regroup, you reorganize, you get your attitude straight, you get your stockpile organized. Make a plan of attack. Leave me a comment below. Let me know how you maybe are learning to, reprocess how you do things. How do you do a stockpile? What kind of frugal tips do you have? I'd love to connect with you. Don't forget to check out Jan's channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.